Hi there. This is Dr. John Whitcomb on the topic of chronic Lyme disease causes demyelination on MRI scan. This is an interesting topic and it ties together many threads. If you do an MRI scan and look at white matter of the brain, the white matter are all the cables connecting all your computers. Your brain is a giant computer farm. 200 billion computers, we call those neurons, and they have to be connected by cables, we call those axons, and those cables have to be insulated, and that insulation is called myelin, and it's like an onion. At birth you have virtually no myelin, just one or two layers, and you have to start myelinating. And you make myelin in a cell called an oligodendrocyte, and each oligodendrocyte services about 30 cables around it. And by age 40, each of those cables or axons has up to 100 layers of myelin. The onion is 100 layers thick. And the more layers, the faster your nerve conducts. So at birth, your brain is conducting at 1 meter a second. And at age 45, it's 100 meters a second. Huge increase. Allows our brain to be a quantum computer. It's sort of like the 3 nanometer chips that are now being made by Taiwan Semiconductor. That's the state of the art. What happens when you get oxidative stress? Oxidative stress basically means your mitochondria have been damaged by something, and they're having a hard time holding on to electrons, and electrons escape and make reactive oxygen species, oxidants, for which you take antioxidants. You take vitamin C and vitamin E. Those are inside the cell. Plasmalogen lipids are on the only membrane lipid that have a vinyl ether bond that juts over the surface of the cell and make up 70% of myelin. So if you have too much peroxide that gets away, you damage the plasmalogen molecule and you release malondialdehyde as proof that you've damaged it, and that is a messenger to make microglia, the garbage trucks of your brain, come and try to clean up the mess, and that creates a cycle of ongoing damage. So in the journal PLOS1, 12 patients with well-characterized and proven Lyme disease, chronic Lyme disease, compared to normal controls. MRI showed they had quite a bit of damage. They had increased diffusion defects in their white matter, whereas the controls didn't. And that correlated with their symptoms of brain fog. There you have it. And if you check their inflammatory markers, they have low glutathione and high malondialdehyde. Poof. That means there's mitochondrial failure going on, there's electrons escaping, there's more peroxide than glutathione can handle. Your glutathione's being depleted, your malondialdehyde's going up. That means you've got activated microglia. And you have ongoing brain fog and ongoing symptoms. That's the same thing that happens with chronic long COVID. That's the same thing that happens with SIRS from household exposure with mold. The same thing that happens post-anesthesia. The same thing that happens with concussion syndrome. The same thing that happens with autism. It's the same mechanism. That's why I say we tie multiple threads together, because you can show the markers of oxidative stress in each of those, and we know and we can now with the MRI scanner show that they've got ongoing damage to their white matter. Why is there ongoing damage? We haven't proven this yet, but when you look at the oligodendrocyte, you see that it's servicing 30 axons around it with 100 layers of its own cellular membrane. That's the only cell in the entire human body that has to maintain a surface area of membrane that's 100 times larger than a regular cell. That's like a soccer ball in the middle of a soccer field having to take care of the whole soccer field. Every other cell in your body only has to take care of its own membrane. And it can't do it. It can't keep up. Once you damage that membrane, it's hard to repair it. until now. Now we have prodrome glia, the plasmalogen lipid that is exactly what's in your myelin and exactly what's in mother's breast milk, because a newborn baby has to myelin its brain rapidly. So nature has done a nice job of providing us with just what we need, except that we can't meet it when we get overwhelming oxidative stress. And that's where we need some help. And prodrome glia fixes it. Fascinating, isn't it? There's hope. This idea of making plasmalogens has got some legs to it. We are going to change the world of medicine because we now know how to repair a damaged brain. This is Dr. John Whitcomb for News and Nutrition. Talking about chronic Lyme disease has MRI changes that's exactly like mold patients, like chronic COVID patients, like autism patients. We can fix them.